in my butt. Penis in my butt. In my butt. All right. Sorry, everybody. I was doing my vocal warm-ups. And this is take two, by the way. I got 30 seconds into the last one before I mispronounced a word so poorly, and it wasn't like a regular mispronunciation, like I just didn't know how to pronounce it. It was an R to a W, and I was like, I can't have that. Because most of the people that listen to this, like that I don't know personally, are gonna be listening in the first like minute. So I was like, dude, I can't have that out there. They're gonna destroy me, dude. They're gonna dox me just so they can make fun of how fucking retarded I say that I said my R. But no, it is currently anyway. It is currently Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. It is finals week, which is why I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Don't worry, I know. I don't want to throw off everyone's whole week, which would happen if I put this out on Tuesday. So I'm putting it out on Wednesday, normal time, just scheduling it. But I do have two fucking finals tomorrow. I have a real final calculus and then like a regular test in anthropology. And have I studied for either of them? No, because I'm just so artistic and stuff. Like I don't really care about that stuff. I care about like the Impressionist painters of the 19th century, like Van Gogh. Actually, he's not even Impressionist, but whatever. Inspired by Impressionism. Um, yeah, I don't really know why I picked this topic, but I was like, fuck it. It's been a minute since we've had art, you know what I mean? It was a long ass story on Sunday's episode, and last week I tried to explain chemicals and shit, which I mean, talk about a swing and a miss. I haven't, although I've taken a college chemistry class, it was online and I cheated during the whole thing. So I don't really know shit about chemistry, to be fair. So, and look, I'm not trying to get too sciencey for this Sunday episode either, which I have no idea what that's going to be. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about cooking or something, something light like that. We're gonna have a Christmas themed episode coming up. But today's episode is Impressionist paintings. And this is like, I don't really, I haven't been to a museum in years. I've been to like the Natural History Museum and looked at the dinosaur bones and shit, learned about Darwin and his finches, but I really haven't been to like an art museum since probably fourth grade, dude. And honestly, then I wasn't too worried about the art. I was like, when are we getting to the food court, dude? I was a roly poly, all right? I was like, what's a brioche bun? Whatever, suck my dick, all right? That's what I was worried about at the fucking Nelson Atkins in fourth grade. Um, and those big ass, what are they called? Shuttlecocks, birdies, the things you play badminton with. We got any Asian listeners, they definitely know what that is, but they have like these huge ass ones on the lawn that are pretty sick. I was worried about that. And then I was like, I don't know. It's like taking a fourth grader to see art. To be fair, it wasn't all art. We saw like sarcophaguses and shit. You know what I mean? We were talking about mummies, Greek statues. That was sick. But like expecting a fourth grader, like we walked through the modern part of that museum, or we looked at like some modern shit, and I was like, that's just a rock. I don't know. I wasn't too impressed, and I'm still not impressed. All right, I haven't changed since fourth grade, and I never will. All right. All right. So, yeah, I think we're just gonna get into Impressionism. We're gonna start at the beginning, where all good stories start. So, Impressionism is a 19th century art movement that started in France, specifically Paris. And I know, dude, it's like the best art came from France. Look, you got a couple, crack a couple eggs to make an omelet. You know what I mean? If France has to exist for Impressionism to exist, all right. It's like how we had slavery, and then that led to LeBron James. Even if, slavery, I'm gonna take a controversial stance. Not the best ever. But I mean, LeBron, dude, have you seen that guy? Oh, he's so tough. Year 20 and he's still doing it like this, dude. He's like that. But in this art style, it developed from plein air, which that's a French word, which I mean, you gotta know, guys. Hurt me in my soul to say that. I apologize to all the true patriots listening to this. But plein air is basically just outdoor painting, which differs from traditional studio painting. And like learning about this, a lot of people are like, "Well, that's ridiculous. Like, why did people get so mad about people doing things a new way?" And then someone goes like, "Evolution isn't real," and everyone's like, "You motherfucker, you don't know, you don't understand." It's like, dude, it's the exact same thing. Someone saying evolution isn't real, the vast majority of people don't really understand evolution. So it's like for someone to say it's not real, it's like, okay, well, that guy doesn't understand what I also don't understand. You're just kind of accepting it. It's kind of the same thing as this. You know what I mean? They were just like, this is the way it is. We don't know why, it just is. So, yeah. Anyway, that's if anyone wanted to hear my opinion about um people questioning things in society and greater than that, the science, the generally accepted science in society, I think everyone wanted to hear that from me. But Impressionism is characterized by short, broken brushstrokes freely painted over the canvas. And I'm going to try to explain this. Look, I don't know science, I don't know art, I clearly don't know talking. You know what I mean? It's like, why do I have a podcast? Who knows? But we're getting slightly better. I feel like we've taken a downturn. I don't know what happened, dude. I think the winter just like rubbed my brain smooth. You know what I mean? They got in there with some high grit sandpaper and just fucking all the wrinkles off my brain. I think that's what happened. But we're gonna try to get back into it. Goddamn, dude. Have you guys had the Oreo Coke? I mean, dude, I'm not like a Trump guy or anything, but RFK, he needs to get in there and he needs to get active, dude. Coke, and it's not even good. It's like it's like the shittiest part of the Oreo, the wafer, you know what I mean? It's like chalk and dirt. That's what like the cookie of the Oreo is. It tastes like that mixed with Coke Zero. It's just aspartame and dirt. It's and I drank it was one of the small cans, you know what I mean? Not one of the big bowls, but I still drank it all just to get that caffeine in me. You know what I mean? 20 milligrams. That's how I'm rolling. Um, but speaking of putting unusual chemicals in your body, I've been people know about the Zins now. I feel like that's a pretty big thing, dude. I've been sucking on the wins, dude. WYN. It's just Zin with one letter changed. And dude, this shit is like it is the Dr. Bob of fucking nicotine pouches. There's just something wrong with it. They just all the parts that make a Zin, they just kind of like tweaked enough. You know what I mean? It's like that, what's that shit called? That spice where they like took the THC molecule and they tweaked it, like they added like a carbon or a hydrogen or whatever, or like probably a hydrogen group, and then it became like a different chemical and it was kind of like weed, but it was like something's just what's up with this thing. That's how the winds are, dude. It's like I can feel the nicotine entering my body because I'm a fiend, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is about me. Look, all those people dying of lung cancer, cigarettes obviously no good. I get it though, dude. To get through your day, to get home to your bitch wife who's just making jello. She's like encasing a meatloaf in a jello. I'd be smoking 80 cigarettes a day too, dude. And then she's like accusing you of cheating on your receptionist, which you probably are, but like still, it's like, bitch, I pay for the house. All right, all you got to do is encase shit in Jello. That's your only job. But I love nicotine, right? So I understand the whole lung cancer thing. You know what I mean? It's like smoking even with you have if you have it. And thank God for Zins and shit, because if they didn't have those, my room would smell like a retirement home. You know what I mean? You know how retirement homes always smell like death and cigarettes? That's what my room would smell like, dude. Except farts and cigarettes, dude. My room smells like farts. Right now it's farts and like ramen, even though I haven't eaten ramen in months. I don't know what it is, dude. My body just like exudes it. My body just knows that I'm like just so trashy that ramen is the only thing I should be consuming. I shouldn't be consuming vegetables, dude. My body rejects it. It knows. It knows it should just be sodium and carbs in there. But anyway, fuck, I was gonna try to explain what they meant by broken brushstrokes. So traditionally, like the painting, it was like you try to like follow the shape of a figure with one single brushstroke. You know what I mean? Like if it's a person, you'd start at the head and you'd kind of go around and like with one single brushstroke or like what looked like one single brushstroke. This was like not the same at all. It was like you make the shape of something and then you just go like short brushstrokes all around the shape of it. That was the difference between these two things. And so I think that's what it means by like short broken brushstrokes. And these brushstrokes were also visible, which was also not good. I don't know why I did the Borat there, dude. That's how you know I'm tired. That's how you know I'm stressed, dude. I've been so stressed, I've convinced myself I'm having heart attacks like 8 times, dude. I don't know why I always do that. Dude, one time I like convinced myself I had dementia. I was like so stressed about nothing. Like I was thinking about it. I was like, why am I so stressed about this? So I can get a good grade in calculus? And I was like, That's just not something I give a shit about, dude. I don't care about calculus or being good at calculus. So I was like, just why stress over it? Why stress over anything? I just go with the flow. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say that so much, dude, because it's kind of what people say before they end up with like fucking 3 kids that they don't want and like an alcohol dependency. You know what I mean? Maybe I need to fight the flow a little bit. But fuck it. Getting a B in calculus, I don't know. It's not the end of the world. And I was gonna get a B in it regardless, dude. I can't be bothered with it. I just hate it so much. It's the dumbest thing ever. Um, but anyway, so the focus of the oh what? So yeah, the focus of impressionist paintings as a whole, and like I guess impressionism, because there's like impressionist literature and like sculpture and all that. I don't really know. I don't really know how I can understand how you can do like impressionist literature, you know what I mean? But sculpture, I don't know. Maybe that's 'cause like I have an underdeveloped amygdala or whatever the thing that allows you to understand 3D spaces, dude. Whatever that is, I think it's the amygdala. Mine is so fucked up, dude. Like I tried to play like War Thunder, which is like a military game where you have a plane and it's like dogfighting and shit basically. Dude, that shit broke my brain so much. I was like, dude, where is the nearest trash can? Yo, someone get me a bowl that everyone in the family uses to like eat out of, 'cause I need to throw up right now. Which, by the way, my family never did that, dude. We had I don't. When people talk about that, I'm like, did you guys not have those like little trash cans in every room? Just take the bag out. That shit always like I never understood it. Like throwing up in a bowl that everyone eats. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too fancy. All right. Look, sorry, I'm not Malcolm in the middle like everyone else. Sorry, I come from a refined group of Midwest. Midwest is the superior race, by the way. I'm just like, but the focus of yeah, and so this is kind of what made it unique, and I think this is why I like it and like so many other people like impressionist paintings. It's because it like focuses on the momentary and transient effects of sunlight, which is also another way that like differed from traditional like art, studio art and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just trying to like capture like what the sunlight did, or like how the sunlight felt. That's kind of impressionism. It's like how did you feel while painting this painting? That's kind of the point of it all. It's to like not capture a literal image, but to like yeah, make you feel something. And that was probably partly due to like photography being introduced at this time, because it's like if you want to capture a literal image, goddamn dude. Look, good thing we're not on episode 20 yet. I'm giving myself 20 episodes to be able to get through some of these episodes. Um, to be able to like have the capacity to get through these episodes. But like with the introduction of the picture, it's like a picture can capture something more objectively than any painter can. And so I think that's kind of why impressionism and like post-impressionism and all this other shit has evolved since then. I don't know, that could be completely untrue. I took art history and I made a fucking like a breast, like a bone armor breastplate out of Zin cans. So what the fuck do I know? You know what I mean? I'm no Claude Monet. And I looked it up because like Van Gogh is like probably the most famous painter of all time, or one of the most famous painters. It's like him, Da Vinci, Michelangelo. Those are probably the top ones to be honest. And because I was like, is he? Because he kind of uses the short brushstrokes, or not the short brushstrokes, but like the curvy. You know what I mean? They don't follow things exactly. I guess he's a post-impressionist painter, and that's probably why he's so famous. Because he like kind of came up with so many techniques on his own, and it makes his art so unique. But it's still like impressionist in the way that it's not literal. It's just trying to capture the feeling that he felt, which I think he does a really good job at. You know what? I'm gonna say it, dude. Second controversial opinion this episode. Slavery was bad, despite LeBron, and I think Van Gogh's a good painter. Dude, and I tried to watch that Van Gogh movie with Willem Dafoe. I just couldn't do it, dude. I I, I couldn't understand it. It was like, is he gay? Because he was trying to get with fucking what's that dude's name? What is his name? It's the dude from Ex Machina. You know who I'm talking about? The main, not the ginger, but like the main dude, Oscar Isaac, something like that. He was trying to get with that dude the whole time, I think. I don't know. I don't think Van Gogh was fruity though. I think he was too horny. Didn't he cut off his ear because he was like too straight and horny all the time? I'm pretty sure that's why Van Gogh like cut it off and gave it to a hooker. So I don't know why they were doing that, dude. I think Van Gogh's like a straight beast. Like a heterosexual beast and also a straight beast. Cut off his ear and like killed himself by shooting himself in the liver, dude. He took himself out in like the worst way possible. I don't think there's a. We talked on the last episode about that dude who got caught diddling. You know what I mean? They had the diddler on the ship, but they caught that dude and they like strangled him to death. I feel, didn't he like bleed out over like the course of like a day or something like that? It's like worse than seppuku. That's how Van Gogh very honorable. Van Gogh, Van Gogh. It does kind of sound Japanese now that I'm saying it like that. But he is a post-impressionist painter, and another aspect that makes impressionism unique, and also uh, a lot of people from the traditional art forms or the traditional painting style, I guess, didn't like, um, is how like they mixed paints and stuff. So impressionist painters used mixed paints, or wait, unmixed paints as well as mixed paints, in order to achieve intense, vibrant colors. And so this is how they made paint back in the day, I guess. They mixed together like a pigment and then a binder, I think, and then like a liquid to make the paint. And I guess they would just use like way less liquid to get a more vibrant color, which I guess makes it. And it's like, dude, why are you getting angry at that? And I guess they're getting angry because it's like that color doesn't exist, and therefore you shouldn't be painting it because you can't paint with a color that doesn't exist like naturally to capture a natural moment. But like I said, that's not what they were trying to do. They were just trying to capture how they felt, which is it is very French of them. You know what I mean? To me, like, oh, it's more important how I feel. But to be fair to them, the other guys were just as gay. It's like, no, you're not allowed to mix the paint like that. It's all art is gay, I think is what I'm trying to say here. No offense to any. Look, I know all the artists are listening to this. Modern artists are especially gay. What the fuck are they gonna do to me, dude? I've taken classes where we talked about modern art the whole time. It's the most gay. Even like modern, like contemporary, like academic, like the most esoteric music that like is being made, or that's like kind of like the newest genres of music, I guess. Like academic music, I guess is the best way to put it, is so gay. There's like they got a few bangers, but like it's just bitches, not an exaggeration, bitches screaming into open pianos. It's pretty gay, dude. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm one of the artists being like, you can't mix those colors. It's look, I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying it's gay and kind of retarded. I'm just calling it what it is. But I think I could be an art critic, gay and retarded. I think if those aren't the two most used words by like art, and I mean like art, like music and painting and sculpture and all that, like that type of art, if that's not like the most used words by art critics, I don't, something's going wrong, dude. I might have to switch fucking career paths, dude. I'm no longer a genius, comedic genius podcaster like I am right now, dude. I'm an art critic. I'm gonna revolutionize the field. All right? Welcome to Gay 101. Welcome to Retarded 101, dude. Let's start with the basics and work our way up from there. All right? No, dude, you're not allowed to call them pussies yet. That's a 400 level class, dude. That's you got to be a senior to take that one. There's 18 prereqs for that class. You're not even through gay and retarded yet. You're not moving on to pussy, and you're certainly not moving on to the big one, dude. The big F. All right? And look, we might have a postgraduate in class, dude. We might have to involve that one because these guys are getting real gay and retarded out here. So I might have to involve the in class in there. You know what I mean? Maybe a CH. Maybe that's like a three. You know what I mean? No one's gonna get too mad about that one. Even the CHs. You know what I mean? The people. Even they don't get too upset about that one. So that might be like a 300 level class. But we got to start out with gay and retarded before we get there. You know what I mean? And look, I could probably introduce this in a fair, like, if I just come up with like a bullshit reason why I need to say gay and retarded, being like, dude, my ancestors were slaves, that's why I need to say gay and retarded, they'd probably let me do it. I might be onto something here, dude. This might be impressionist critique. I might be the first impressionist critiquer, dude. Critiquer, critic. God damn, dude. Fuck it, whatever. I might be the first impressionist critic. It's like, dude, I don't care how good the art actually is. It's more about how I feel in the moment, all right? I'm painting with my words, with a gay and retard. That's what I'm doing. I did just drop my pen, which without that I was playing with. God damn. Um, But next, another thing that kind of makes Impressionism a little more unique, it's kind of a similar thing, but most of the subjects of Impressionist paintings are landscapes or day-to-day life. So the day-to-day life thing is kind of unique. Neither of them are too unique, but that's just what they were. That's just what the subjects of it were. But it would be like people like in motion and stuff. Like they're trying to like capture like people in motion, which is like it is kind of a revolutionary idea. And I think that's maybe where like the short, like choppy paintbrush strokes come in, because it's like that kind of makes it look more like you're moving. You know what I mean? Like if you have like wisps coming off someone's back, it kind of looks like they're moving in a certain direction, even though the painting's standing still. So maybe that's why they were so good at capturing those things. But Claude Monet, I feel like everyone's kind of heard him. He is probably the most famous and influential Impressionist painter. And I was looking up Claude Monet water lilies because I didn't know where they were, like where the paintings were. Um, but he has like a whole series of them. And I thought, so this dude, um, he was born in 1840, and the Impressionist movement happened in like the 1870s and 1880s, but he didn't start painting water lilies, which are probably the most famous Impressionist painting, until like the 1920s. That's when he painted it, and it's like a series of paintings. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's probably like a good subject for an Impressionist painting because it's all Impressionism is mostly about how like sunlight interacts with things. And I was like, well, that's probably a good like subject, right? Because it's like you're dealing with how sunlight interacts with plants and the water, which is like you can kind of get that with like a lake and then a forest behind the lake, but I feel like it's just better because the water lilies are on top of the lake. And it's like his most famous one also has a bridge in it, I think. I think that's his most famous one. I could be wrong. But yeah, no, they're sick ass paintings. I think there's a reason why he's the most famous impressionist. And also he's the most influential impressionist because the name Impressionism wouldn't even exist without him. So, like I said, the academics at the time, or at least the artistic academics at the time, were like super fucking pissed off about these short brushstrokes. They said, "Brushstrokes better be long, boy," and they were pissed off as hell about it, dude. And so, one of Claude Monet's early works was called like sun or what was it like Sunset Impression. That's how it translates. It's like sunset, comma, impression. And this guy, this critic who fucking look, dude, I like the art. I genuinely enjoy it. I think it's like the best painting on earth. Or like for me, it's my favorite style. But this dude, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's your impression of a sunset. What are you, an impressionist, you fucking moron, dude?" And he hit him with it and just came in and dunked on this gay French nerd. Look, I feel this way about most artists. I enjoy the art, but they're probably fucking gay nerds. And this critic just came in and he was like, "What are you, an impressionist?" Yammed it nuts in the face, dude. Hit him with the, when Shaquille O'Neal hit the and put his balls in that dude's face and knocked him over. That's what this dude hit him with, and he was like, "I fucking got him." And he was like, "Yeah, they're calling themselves impressionists now, fucking nerds." And then it like took off. That guy was probably like, God damn it. That dude's dying words were probably, he's still a fucking gay nerd, dude. That guy was so pissed when that shit took off. But yeah, he was mocking him. He was mocking one of his paintings. I'm gonna pull this bad boy up because I like looking at these painting styles. And like I said, the goal of these paintings is to capture fleeting moments and the feelings that come along with them. And I feel like it's like, I don't know. That's life kind of. Like life is you can view your life as a cohesive thing, but ultimately the moment is the only thing that you can like truly experience. You know what I mean? Like you can't truly experience the past. You're done. That's done. It's been experienced. In the future, you can think about it, but you can't truly experience it until you're in it. And I feel like that's why Impressionism is like so popular because it allows you to experience like these fleeting moments. Um, that like can't exist outside of a moment. Yeah, this one's pretty sick. So I'll explain the one that the dude was mocking. I can kind of understand where he's coming from because this one, at the time, dude, you got to think about like these guys were like kind of living in the shadows of like the Renaissance painters, like these academic painters at the time. Like they were dealing with like they had to look at like Michelangelo and like Da Vinci and all this shit, like all these amazing painters, and they were kind of like living in their shadow, like trying to measure up to them. And that's how a lot of it was. Like Italy for like even now is still trying to measure up to like the Roman Empire. And so these guys were probably like kind of pissed about that, which I mean, fair enough. But this painting is pretty simplistic. It's like this guy's kind of in like it's like a lake, and then there's a sunset happening, and there's these two people in boats, but it's just their silhouette. Yeah, and the water looks like it's rippling. He like made like a cool ripple effect with like some darker brush strokes. Yeah, and the sun setting. I can kind of see it because it is kind of simplistic. It is really the clouds look really good. They don't look like literal clouds, but like I can understand the feeling he's trying to capture. Yeah, no, that one's sick. But I can understand how he was like, if you look at Michelangelo and all these other, I'm saying Michelangelo because that's like the only Renaissance painter who I'm like remotely familiar with. But if you look at all those guys, it's like I don't know, they're just so different. But even those guys were kind of they weren't impressionists, but I mean, what they were capturing wasn't literal, even if it like came from their mind. Like if you look at once again Michelangelo, like the bodies of the people in the Sistine Chapel, like they don't look like a human body looks, you know what I mean? They look like an exaggeration of like one aspect of a human body. Like they look kind of like twisted and gnarly like tree roots. You know what I mean? That's kind of how that's what I think of when I look at the bodies of some of the paintings at the Sistine Chapel. But look, dude, all right, we made it through the art episode. I didn't get too gay, all right? You know what I mean? And by gay, I mean you guys know what I mean by gay. Look, and I've gotten pretty gay. I feel like on the last episode I did talk about jerking dudes off for more time than most people were comfortable with, but no one listened to that episode. I was the only one that like played it. Um, but yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. But it is finals week. I do need to study. But goddamn, do I just not care about calculus at all, dude? I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. But something funny about that is I don't know. You know how like phones definitely listen to us and like recommend like ads and videos based on that? I've been getting these funny ass like the Hawk Tuah girl explaining like an antiderivative and like explaining how to find like the critical points of an antiderivative. And I don't know, dude. It's just funny as hell. And it's like useful because like as someone who like understands it, like my teacher, she's like a pretty good teacher. She is an annoying bitch, but like that's you know what I mean? If you're gonna get a PhD in calculus, you're gonna kind of be an annoying fucking nerd that like plays by the rules all the time. You know, it's like I can't be upset. What's that saying? I don't know. I'm gonna come up with my own saying right now. Don't get mad that if you buy a rooster, don't get mad when it crows in the morning. All right? Can't get mad at a rooster for crowing in the morning if you got it. That's what I think about that. But these videos they explain it well, and it's so funny. It's like Mr. Beast, dude. Mr. Beast and the Hawk Tuah girl with Kai Cenat explaining antiderivatives, and the videos are good. Like they're pretty decently done. They're quick, obviously, but still. But goddamn, dude, is that all that I have? Let me look at my thoughts for the week, dude. I don't know if I have anything like relevant, because that's the things I try to like get done in the week. I will say I was sitting in my calculus class and this nerd talked, like full on, like physically. You can look at this dude and see that he's a nerd. Dude, he was wearing like gardening gloves to class one day instead of like, you know what I mean, winter gloves. He was wearing like not even gardening, like fence building gloves, like those yellow leather gloves, you know what I mean? I've had a couple pairs of them and they're not warm at all. I don't know why he was wearing them, but he was wearing them to class one day, I guess because it was cold. And anyway, that doesn't matter to this story, but the teacher was like, "All right," and this was in calculus class. She's like, "Does anyone have any questions?" And I just heard from across the room, "Yeah, I have a question." Dude, it was the fucking nerd. This dude was a deep voice nerd, and then I started thinking about it, dude, and I was like, deep voice nerds are like dangerous. You know what I mean? Because those are guys that are like choosing to be nerds. Like me, I don't have like a straight up like a high voice, but my voice is like fucked up. You know what I mean? I kind of sound like I'm still going through puberty, but like that's how my voice sounds. And so when I heard this nerd, I was like, you fucking piece of shit, dude. I've been struggling against nerddom for my entire life because of my fucked up voice. And this guy, this fucking sexy, Barry White, deep voice dude, is just choosing to be a nerd wearing gardening gloves to class. I was pissed as hell, dude. I was like, if I had a voice like you, no one would even care that I'm saying my W's instead of my R's on my podcast. No one cares anyway, but I wouldn't care. But fuck it. That's all I've got for this episode, guys. If you're having finals this week, I wish you luck. If you're not, I still wish you luck in whatever you're doing. Hopefully, you win the lottery or you, I don't know, finally get nudes from that chick you've been begging for months. I don't know, feet pick. Feet pics, if that's what you're into. Armpit pics. Look, dude, I'm not here to judge. Armpits, I don't like them, but fuck it. I don't know. I don't really like ham either, but people love that shit. So, yeah. Hope everyone has a good week, good day, good year, whatever, dude. And I'm I don't know why I'm so like happy and like joyous right now, dude. I have a test that's gonna kill me tomorrow. It's gonna murder me. But fuck it, dude. We ball. That's life. Um, yeah, but anyway, hopefully you guys have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you on Sunday. And yeah, all right, peace out. Bow, bow.